Another Texas player. And Malik Muhammad, unfortunately, was one of those guys that almost got ignored this year by Texas fans in a good way. Being forgotten about is not a terrible thing because in a lot of ways that means that you're consistent. That means that we trust that you're going to do what you're going to do. And I love that for Malik Muhammad. Also, hook 'em. Shame on me for just getting right into it and not saying hook 'em for Malik Muhammad. I am just excited to talk about him because I don't feel like he gets talked about enough, and I don't feel like he gets the credit that he deserves, and that is okay to some extent, but this is my opportunity to show him love, to show him that credit, so I am going to do that because I enjoyed watching him be a part of this Texas team for 3 years, and I noticed when he wasn't out there. That matters to me.
Hi, this is Edit Me popping up to say, I forgot to mention that this is a series. So if this is the first video that you're watching of mine, there should be other videos. I will probably tag a video here that you can go watch so that you can find other episodes about other players that I'm really excited to see get drafted anyways.
Once you trust a guy and once you know that a guy is just going to do his job, you don't really talk about him anymore until he does something that is absolutely incredible or amazing, like he was in the Oklahoma game, or when he's not there and you miss him, like what happened in the Florida game. So maybe to Malik Muhammad's credit, he was one of the people that we just didn't talk about a lot in this Texas football team, and maybe he was the forgotten about man, and maybe that is okay because he did what he needed to do to put himself in position to go to the NFL, and that is really what matters at the grand scheme of things. The other interesting thing, too, where it comes to Malik Muhammad is a lot of Texas fans were worried because we were losing Jade. We lost Jade to the Denver Broncos, and there was, some couple of things that happened in this Texas secondary. And at first, we were all in a little bit of like, who's going to do what? How are we going to do this? How are we going to overcome? And Malik Muhammad was the man that everybody targeted to kind of say, he has to be better. He has to do this. He has to do this. And to his credit, he did all of those things. We knew when Malik Muhammad wasn't in the game because that was the Florida game. And the Florida game where we made DJ Lagway look like he was the best college football player ever, that was the game Malik Muhammad was out, and it showed in this Texas secondary. All he did for Texas was stepped up, made plays, caught interceptions when they were thrown to him, maintained his side of the field, and he looked good doing it. When I realized that Malik Muhammad was probably going to go to the NFL was when I trusted him. And what I mean by trusted him is I never was worried about if he was going to be in the right spot, if he was going to be able to make a play, if he was going to do what needed to be done, because I knew he was going to. And for me, I know that sounds really ridiculous, but the way that I look at players that come into the University of Texas, I expect them to be good. I expect them to be consistent. I expect them to do basic things right. But then when you start excelling and I start to trust you and I start expecting you to make plays, and then when you continuously get better game after game after game after game, yeah, sign me up for that. That lets me know that you're right where you're supposed to be. His consistency and overall athleticism is going to make him a tremendous NFL draft pick. Whoever gets him is going to get a solid pick because the things that he is able to do athletically, a lot of people will not be able to do, and that is where he shines. If you want more of me and more of my content, don't forget to hit that like button. Make sure that you're subscribed to my channel. Don't forget to also leave me a comment in the comment section below. And for those of you that don't know, I do have memberships available. There's 2 different tiers. So if you want more of me, there are options where you can get more of me. Now let me get you back to your video. But hey, I don't have to sit here and tell you all this. I have Malik Muhammad's measurables because he was invited to the NFL Combine. He was able to perform there, and he did a lot of great things there. He looked good, he looked smooth, he looked athletic, but you don't need to hear it from me. Let me just get to a couple of those measurables so you can just see for yourself. Malik Muhammad is another guy from Texas. Hey, of course he is. But seriously, let me tell you about some of his things that he did and some of his measurables at the NFL Combine. So Malik Muhammad is from DeSoto, Texas. Shout out to DeSoto. He is 6 foot. Obviously, he's from Texas. He played at Texas, all those different things. He's 182 pounds. He was a junior, which is interesting because we have a lot of guys that are entering the draft this year that were juniors, which I find very interesting. Texas having a couple of guys that are true juniors entering in the draft is kind of cool to see. I will be honest, though, the recipe for winning championships in college football might be to have those more experienced guys hang around. But hey, They left for the NFL. Nobody can get mad at them for leaving for the NFL. The other thing I want to call out with Malik Muhammad about his athleticism is that he was tied for first in his 40 split time. What that shows is an ability to make up ground. If you have to make up ground, that explosion is important. That is an intangible that he does have, and that just fits my narrative that he's actually really athletic. Also, the wind is getting hella disrespectful, so hopefully I can finish all of this about Malik Muhammad because he deserves this time. There's really two risks with Malik Muhammad. One of those you will hear me say a lot. The first one is age. He is 21 years old. He is a real junior. He only has played 3 years in college football. You never really know if a player has peaked or if that player has more room to learn and grow and learn new things. I would like to think that he has the ability to learn and grow new things. But again, that is something I have to call out. The other thing that I've noticed about Malik Muhammad, and I don't know if this is scheme or if this is just something that because I can't say he was an amazing tackler, I don't know about his ability to come down, get in the box, and make tackles. It is something that I'm thinking about and wondering. I cannot remember how Malik Muhammad tackles. I don't know if he's a great tackler. I don't know if he's a good tackler. I don't really know that about his skill set, so I'm not going to sit here and act like it. And because he played for my team, and because I don't really know if he's good at it or not, I have to add it as a risk here just in case, because I would like to think I watch enough of my team to know if I think that he is a phenomenal tackler, but that is just something to keep an eye out on. And I could be wrong here. I don't think I'm wrong, but it's just something that I'm thinking about that is going to be important. His age is going to be a factor, as I've said, and I will continue to say, and I always say, that also could end up being a strength because his ability to still learn, grow, develop all those different things. And then that tackling, don't really know what it looks like, but I am going to trust that he can learn that skill and that he'll be just fine playing corner in the NFL. When Malik Muhammad gets drafted, when Malik Muhammad earns that starting job on whatever NFL team that is, he is going to be a solid starter for probably 10 plus years. The other thing I love about him is his durability. He only missed 1 game in his college career. He played in every single game his freshman season. He started in every single game as a sophomore. And then as a junior, his final season, he only missed that 1 game at Florida. It just so happened we lost that game at Florida, but hey, in a lot of ways, that might look good for him because you can see what that defense looks like without him, and we didn't look too hot. I will just say that. Before I end this video, I need to also say Malik Muhammad was another person in 2023 that started for that Texas defense. The Texas defense that all of us were like, oh my gosh, what is this defense? What is this secondary? What are we doing? Why do we look like this? Somebody please help us fix this. However, the next season, the 2024 season, we were able to fix that. And it wasn't our secondary's issue anymore. It became our offense. And then obviously 2025, we didn't have a defensive problem in 2025. We really had an offensive problem in 2025. And I think that speaks to how well Malik Muhammad developed and his impact on this Texas football team. Another guy that has come into the University of Texas in 2023 that has made this defense better than when they found it. And for that, I am going to commend him. And for that, I will say, hook 'em, Malik Muhammad. Job well done. Can't wait to see where he gets drafted. I do feel like he should be a day 2 guy, and whatever team gets him, they might get a steal in a lot of ways because I don't think a lot of people know who Malik Muhammad is and actually know what Malik Muhammad can do. So shout out to him. I can't wait to see him in the NFL. So let me know what you think in the comment section below. As always, I'll see you in my next video.